Hello everyone, I am Radfabtabulous, and today I'm going to present a theory on Loomian Legacy Vials of Shadows. There are a few things that I want to go over before I start explaining my theory. First, this theory does contain spoilers to Loomian Legacy up until the ending of version 1. This means that if you have not seen what happens before you get your first ability from the Power Watch, you should stop the video right now and play until you reach that part of the game. Second, I will be spoiling many parts of Pokemon Brick Bronze. I'm just saying this because people might get mad at me for spoiling the ending for a shutdown game without warning. So, that's my warning. Third, I may go over potential spoilers to Loomian Legacy. My prediction may actually happen, but it also might not. If you want a greater possibility of being surprised, I recommend not watching this video. Fourth, I will assume that all of you watching know the basic terminology of Pokemon. For example, I think you all know what a Pokemon Professor is, the fighting style in Pokemon, etc. If you do not know some of the terminology I'm talking about, feel free to pause the video and look it up on Bulbapedia, the free online Pokemon encyclopedia. Last, I do not work with the group responsible for producing Pokemon Brick Bronze, and I do not work with the group responsible for producing Loomian Legacy. With all of that out of the way, I will now share my belief of the true identity of the unknown stranger we found in the Galvanite Cave on Route 3 before we obtained our first power. Some people assume that the stranger is Jake, due to the stranger mentioning his desire to go home and the similar looks of Jake in Pokemon Brick Bronze, and the stranger in Loomian Legacy. However, based on what the stranger does, what the stranger says, and the way the stranger battles, I have a far more interesting prediction in mind. The theory I present is that the stranger is not Jake, it's Professor Cypress. That's right, the evil Pokemon professor trying to free all the Pokemon from their trainers is the mysterious stranger. One piece of evidence that supports my theory is the stranger's choice of a Star Loomian. In Pokemon Brick Bronze, Jake chose to have an Eevee as his initial Pokemon, which is a Pokemon you can have as your starter. When we battled Professor Cypress, we noticed that we were battling a full team of fully evolved starter Pokemon, and we could have chosen any of their pre-evolved forms as our initial Pokemon. Now let's look at Loomian Legacy. After we picked our starting Loomian, our mom, the Loomian Professor, battles us with a Loomian we cannot choose to be our starter. When we fight the stranger in the cave, what's the first Loomian he sends out? An Empit, a Star Loomian we could have chosen when we started our adventure. Both Professor Cypress and the stranger fight with official starters, while Jake fights with non-official starters. I'm sure Jake would have chosen the Loomian our mom fought us with, instead of an official starter. Another piece of evidence is the way that Professor Cypress and the stranger think. For example, at the end of the Athenian City arc of Pokemon Brick Bronze, Professor Cypress planned on blowing up the power core at the center of the city. This power core not only kept the city above ground, but it also supplied power to the city. When we encountered the stranger in the cave, how did the stranger describe the crystal? He described it as an energy source that could power a city, not to mention he planned on using the crystal for himself, possibly destroying it as a result. Both the power core and the crystal provide power to the cities, thus creating another possible connection between Professor Cypress and the stranger. A third piece of evidence is that both Professor Cypress and the stranger are willing to manipulate people into doing what they want. Some examples of Professor Cypress doing this include lying about the involvement with Team Eclipse, fooling her parents into believing him, only for the professor to jail them soon after, and his overall ruse of acting like an innocent Pokemon professor. Now let's compare that to the stranger. Although there are not many examples of the stranger manipulating people, he did trick the miners guarding the entrance of the cave to let him through by claiming that he was a trainer who beat the first theater leader. A fourth piece of evidence has to do with the determination of both the stranger and Professor Cypress. When we defeated Professor Cypress in Athenian City, he wasn't affected so much by the loss, and claimed that it would have no effects towards his ultimate goal. When we defeated the stranger in the cave, did he give up on his quest on going home? No, of course not. He stated that even though he lost his first battle against us, and before he exited the cave, that he would find another way to get home, and seems that he would do whatever it takes to do so. A fifth piece of evidence has to do with the mythical powers of legendary Pokemon. For example, Dialga controls time, Palkia controls space, etc. Since Loomian Legacy was inspired by Pokemon and the fact that it's a sequel to Pokemon Brick Bronze, it seems highly possible that some special Loomian has the power to swap bodies of two characters, or has the power to make someone look young. Perhaps the stranger had a powerful Loomian on his bench, hiding from the world and with those exact powers. Although these pieces of evidence do support my theory, the stranger does say that we reminded him of a friend. That comment can strongly support the idea that the stranger is Jake and not Professor Cypress, if not for one thing. Even though Jake threw Professor Cypress into the portal, Professor Cypress did not know that Jake was against Team Eclipse all along, because he only acknowledged that he was against Team Eclipse right after he threw Professor Cypress into the portal. Not only that, but Jake gave Professor Cypress what he wanted: a world without Pokemon trainers ordering their Pokemon to attack others, because Loomian Legacy doesn't contain any Pokemon. Overall, Professor Cypress might consider Jake a powerful friend. Overall, this is just a theory that I have. Again, this is not a 100% guarantee of what will happen in the future. This is just my prediction. If you have any ideas of who the stranger is, feel free to comment. Thanks for watching, and if any developers of either Pokemon Brick Bronze or Loomian Legacy are watching, thank you for putting in so much time, effort, and care into these games. I really enjoy playing Pokemon Brick Bronze and enjoy playing Loomian Legacy. Bye!